Hello and welcome to Otterwood Cottage, our beautiful small holding in the heart of the Lincolnshire countryside. I'm Emma and we're delighted to have you along with us. It's a very wet, windy and cold weekend on the small holding this weekend, so nowhere near as much outside work done as we might have hoped. We have been able to move some of the wood chip, so Mr H has moved some of the smaller wood chip from the pile that was delivered over to Cowfields and has delivered that through to the polytunnel. So the polytunnel is now ready for the next phase of work when the weather improves slightly. A couple of other things to catch you up on, but before I do that I just want to take you back to Emma from a few days ago. Here she is.
Right, so a little update on our seedlings planted on the 1st of January. Today is the 23rd of January and I've had a couple of days feeling really poorly with this flu that everybody's been suffering with, and so I thought I'd cheer myself up by just potting on those that are doing well and then planting up some more seeds. So the winners and the not so winning plantings from the first, we had 5 come up from the organic lipstick and they're doing quite well. The Amy sweet pepper, we've had 3 come up and a couple of those are doing really well and the one at the back's not too bad. The sweet spiral, we've only got 2. I'm just going to stick with 2 for that, I think, and not plant any more. The Zitavia peppers, 5 of those came up, they're doing brilliantly. The winners on the pepper front are the Padron peppers, all 6 came up and are growing wonderfully well. The only thing I would say is a couple of them have just gone a little bit leggy, you can see there. Not quite sure why they have when none of the others have, but when I come to pop them into their next size pots, I'll pot them up to those first 2 leaves there. So that should sort that issue out. The jalapenos are doing well. The prairie fires, all 6 have come up. They look to be slower growing, but they're doing really well. And similarly, the rainbow chilies, we've got 4 of those come up, slightly slower growing. And then on the aubergine front, similar results, all 6 from the check early and the diamond aubergine. They're all doing brilliantly. I'm going to pop them on. The black beauties, we only got 1 and it's looking a bit sorry for itself and a bit sickly. So I'm going to try replanting some black beauties to see if it was just too early for them on the 1st of January or whether actually it's just for some reason those seeds aren't growing this year. So overall I'm really pleased with that. So I'm going to pot those that are bigger in here on into that size pot. And then I've got some of my root trainers because I'm also going to plant up, as I said, some more black beauty aubergine, which will go in here. But the sweet peas are going into the root trainers, some oregano and some yellow Rinsberger long keeping onions. So my little cheer me up after 2 days of feeling really quite rotten is to do a little bit of planting. Jumping forward in time from that video, we're now on the 8th of February and you can see the new setup. So I've got a second grow light in over in the corner and we've got the aubergines which I was potting on and some sweet peas which I planted on the 27th, as you saw, now doing really well. Some of them going a little bit spindly. I think they're going to be okay as the days get longer and we get more light in here. And then over here I have, these are the, loads of growers use these, so these are the shoe racks, shoe trays from IKEA, super cheap but brilliant for bottom watering once you start putting things on. And we've got the peppers doing really well, oregano starting to come along, and so what are we, 6 weeks after planting?
5 weeks after planting. That's where we've got to with our peppers and our aubergines. Now there is lots of seed sowing to happen in February, but generally I tend to do that towards the end of the month. My birthday is in February, and a bit like our tradition of planting these things on the first of the year, I tend to plant my tomatoes and other February plantings on my birthday towards the end of February. So we're going to keep growing these on, seeing how these do, making sure that I'm rotating them around the grow light so that they get plenty of light. And as we get towards the end of January, they can start to migrate onto the windowsills because the days will be longer. We'll get more light in here through the conservatory roof and windows, and then that will allow us to sow some more seeds ready for the next lot to go under this grow light on the table. So lots of exciting things to come in February, but we are on a pause on sowing. I'm always keen to get going. I just looked through my seed stash to see if there was anything I could sow today, but I'm going to be patient. I'm going to wait until later in February. So the main updates for you for this week is that we had the hedgerows cut. So a local chap called Dan came and did those for us. They're looking fantastic. There's a couple of little bits that the tractor couldn't get to that we will need to tidy up, but really minimal work for us to do now, and we're really glad in the end. Lots of you told us that it was a good idea to do, and you were absolutely right. We're really glad that we decided to go ahead and get that done professionally rather than trying to do that ourselves, because it would have just taken hours. It took 4 hours with the tractor, so it definitely would have taken days and days, weeks for us to try and do that by hand. So that was a really good job done. The second piece of excellent news to update you on is that the Woodland Trust plan has come through. We have ordered the trees and they will be arriving at the beginning of March, so we're really excited to get that done. Just under 1,000 trees arriving, and under the contract we have to plant them within a week of arrival, so it's going to be all hands to the pump at Otterwood Cottage that week, but we're pretty confident we can do it between us, so that's exciting. The other couple of bits to update you on: Otter is settling in brilliantly. He is loving life on the Smallholding, and we're loving having him here with us. So a lot of our time this week has been spent looking after Otter, settling him in, getting him used to the Otterwood way of life, and he has been thoroughly enjoying it, but it has definitely tired him out too. Take a look at this. What else is there to update them on? And the final piece of news, just to give you an indication of what might be coming up, is in the February half-term week, we've all got some time off, and we have booked some equipment to come and arrive for 2 projects. One is to fence the outside of the property, which we've talked about, the rabbit fencing, so all of that equipment is arriving. And secondly, we have a mini excavator arriving, which will be used to dig the foundations for our pond. And the reason we're doing that is the pond is going in the woodland, and so before we plant the trees we want the pond marked out and dug. We're not going to complete the pond project, we're going to dig the basic foundation for it. We don't yet know whether we need to get proper pond liner or whether the clay, we think that the clay soil we have here, because it's holding water so significantly already, may well hold enough water for the pond just to be dug as a natural pond, which we'd really like to do. But what we're going to do is dig the pond out, start to landscape around it, but leave it for a season, see how the water interacts with it, see if we do need a pond liner in the long term, and just be patient, which, as those of you who've been watching this video know, we're not always good at being patient, but we think this time we can wait a year, see how the water interacts with the pond, and make sure that we are doing the right thing for the property and the landscape that we've got. So in that week you can expect lots of content of us getting on with those projects, and in the meantime, thanks for joining us, and we'll see you all soon. Bye.